Well, here we are again. It's 11 o'clock, it's Thursday night, it's DCTV. Sure, it must be Community of Independence Season 2. Yeah, groovy. It's the long-awaited follow-up to the proverbial marquee moon that was Series 1. And let me just say, I'm ready for an adventure. This room is on fire. And if I could for a moment quote the 70s pop sensation Paul Francis Gadd, aka Gary Glitter, hello, hello, it's good to be back. Coming up on tonight's show, we're going to have music and chat in the studio from the Andre 3000 approved Katy Kim. Going to be talking to the tremendous Annie Tierney and Padraig O'Reilly from the Popical Island collective. We have the first of our Joyful Slog profiles on the sensational No Spill Blood. But before all that, insert superlative here for the spook of the 13th lock, the brutal here and now. The spook of the 13th lock there with the title track of their new album, The Brutal Here and Now. That video was made by Ian Lawton of reasonably short productions. Nearly forgot that. What a professional. More importantly, I'm joined by Padraig and Annie from the Popical Island Collective. Thank you very much for coming in to us.
Thanks for having us.
Let me ask you, just indulge me for a moment and tell me the when and why of the Popical Island Collective starting.
Well, why did we start? I suppose we kind of were playing gigs together and working together anyway, organically, and we decided to kind of formalise it, put a name on it, and to help each other out in any ways we could. To begin with, I suppose like we kind of weren't part of any commercial thing that was going on. We also weren't really part of any particular club or scene that was going on, even though there have been things like that in Dublin. And we were kind of, you know, in the kitchen at the party. Yeah. And we decided to have an even better party in the kitchen.
In the kitchen, that's where all the stuff happens, yeah. So obviously, I mean, it's not a label per se, it's a collective. So what other ventures is the Popical Island involved in?
We put on gigs, monthly gigs called Popical Island. Yeah. We've had 15 of those so far. And we've helped bands do releases and that's it, compilations as well. Yeah,
so it's just a case of strength in numbers really.
Strength in numbers, and there is, I think, kind of an aesthetic that binds the bands as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked around the time of the second Popical Island compilation coming out, and I was trying to say, is there a Popical Island sound, for example? And what you guys said was, well, the only thing that really binds all the bands together is that what they do is self-produced and very much DIY.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the longer we've been doing it, the more we're trying to figure out what the aesthetic is. We're kind of making it up as we're going along. But I guess it's the taste of the people involved as well. So it's pretty, I mean, there are a lot of bands now probably getting stuff recorded by other people, but they're all kind of lo-fi productions or whatever. They're not going into expensive studios or whatever. Yeah. But it's basically just whatever we like, you know.
I suppose if you compare the bands to each other, there's a lot of diversity. So it seems like maybe there isn't a very strong thing that unifies them. But in fact there is, I think, like if you compare the bands to other bands, other collective, other scenes, other types of music, you know, free jazz and Shangaan electro and whatever, they're like, we're all actually are very similar sounding bands. Yeah.
Annie, I wanted to ask you, you've been on both sides of the Irish music industry. You've been in the Chicks on a major label, now doing Tyrannosaur through Popical Islands. What are the differences there? I mean, what do you think you learned from the major label experience that you brought to what you're doing now?
The two don't really connect because it was such a long time ago. Right. It's like a different era. Yeah. It was like, I was like 15 to 19 when I was in Chicks, and I'm 31 now, so everything has completely changed since then. The music industry, obviously at that time there was a lot of money going around anyway, and now there isn't. So I mean, it just gives you a certain cynicism, I suppose, like about trying to make a career out of it or how that would work. But it's also based on just experience of all the musicians I've known in Dublin over the last like 15 years or whatever. So yeah, I suppose for me it's just a hobby, and I'm happier to keep it that way.
And for you guys, Popical Island 3, it's coming out quite soon. It's going to be the last one. Why?
Well, I think I initially suggested it should be the last one, and everyone agreed. And the reason was because we'll have to do something different next time. We didn't want to just get into a routine of asking bands for songs, putting it out, and not really digesting it or thinking about why we were doing that. So we'll have to do something different and a bit more interesting next year. Yeah.
So what else is planned for Popical Island Collective then?
We have a few albums this year, Ginnells.
Having said that, Comp 3 will be amazing.
Comp 3 is amazing.
Yeah. It was described to me once as the final frontier. So I think that's a pretty good subtitle.
It's really good. Yeah.
It's really good, and there's loads of stuff on it. Like we just got the mastered thing back, and it sounds awesome. Yeah.
It's going to be a launch gig in the next couple of months.
Launch gig in July, yeah.
All day, same deal as the last 2 years.
We might have maybe 2 stages this year.
Yeah. Do you want to be our Jules Holland?
Sure, I can say Tirani saw in that kind of way that I do. Yeah, well, look, thanks very much for coming into us, guys. Oric and Annie from Popical Island Collective, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right now we have a VTonmaker, that's the pedal making workshop out in the joinery in Smithfield. We sent a rather hungover Aaron to find out more for us on Sunday. Here's what happened.
Hello, I'm Aaron. We're here on a lovely bright Sunday, feeling a bit delicate after a no split blood last night. Going to have a look at Maker group, came together to make pedals in a workshop here in Arbour Hill in the joinery, and we're going to go in and take a look and have a talk with the lads.
Well, today we're having a workshop, guitar pedal making workshop. It's a fuzz distortion pedal called the Mud Speaker. We're basically going to go through the whole process of building it from scratch, putting the circuit together, putting it into the enclosure.
Did you decide on one particular type of fuzz pedal to go with? Or?
The reason we chose this circuit was because it's very straightforward. It's very simple to put together. It's only 6 components, you know, so it's a great introduction to all the different processes involved in DIY electronics.
All the information's out there, but it's
a matter of just being shown it or getting a bit of direction.
Yeah, exactly, that's it, yeah. And we realised there wasn't really one kind of place in Ireland anyway at the moment that you could go and learn this stuff with someone to show you. So we decided to set up a Maker and run workshops.
As long as the connection is pretty solid, that would be a perfect solder.
So for €44, what do you get?
So for 44 of your hard-earned euros, you'll get a full introduction into the world of DIY electronics if you haven't done it before. At the end of it, you'll have a pedal that you're able to use, fully able to use in gigs, anything you want to do with it. A good quality sounding pedal as well. And you'll be getting instruction booklets and information about components.
And obviously the valuable mentoring of yourself.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, I'd say it makes a huge difference having hands-on help, being able to do it.
So I think it's the tricky part's over, which was all the tiny little components.
So what's next? Once a month, is it?
So this is the first one in the joinery now, so yeah, I think it'll be once, maybe twice, once a month at the moment here anyway. Okay. And then it's once a month in Muzz Music Rehearsal Studios in Shop Lizard. The next one is next Sunday, the 27th.
Sunday the 27th. Okay, cool. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks very much.
It sounded good. Day well spent. And got a new pedal to add to the arsenal and learned a lot, so really happy.
There you are, a tired and emotional Aaron at the pedal making workshop. Okay, it's time for our gig guide, first of series 2, and in honour of that fact, I'm wearing a t-shirt from the greatest gig I was ever at, Malahide Piping and Drumming Festival 2007. You just really had to be there, to be honest. We have some great gigs this week, starting the Workman's Club tonight. If you want to turn off your TV and run there, it's a £5 in to see Drunken Boat with You Kiss by the Book. Presumably the fine publication by Randy Ross. Tomorrow night in Whelan's, it's Cry Monster Cry. They're launching their new EP with Mossy Nolan in support. Imagine he looked like that, Mossy Nolan. Yes, Phantom 105.2 Dublin's Indie Rock are putting on a gig in the Academy 2 with DZ Death Rays. There's a Death Ray. Fingers crossed they use it on Michelle Doherty. What else do we have? Sugar Club, late night gig, 11 o'clock. That one starts on Friday night with David Kitt, Ships, and I Am the Cosmos. Yes. I am the Cosmos. Okay, Saturday in the Button Factory, automobile enthusiast and synth rock legend Gary Newman is doing a gig. Hi Gary. Creeping me out a little bit there. Upstairs in Whelan's on Saturday night, my favourites, can you guess? Chewing on Tinfoil. Chewing on Tinfoil are doing a gig, €6 into that one, upstairs in Whelan's on Saturday night. Sunday in the Button Factory, it isn't exactly a gig, more it's two old men talking to each other for a while. John Sinclair, he managed the MC5, and Howard Marks. he managed to stay alive despite taking lots of drugs. So they're having a conversation, €18 into that one on Sunday night. And finally, next Wednesday in Whelan's, very good gig indeed, the men will be coming to Dublin, playing Whelan's, the men. Not those men, the other men. Yeah, I don't know how those other men got in there. Okay, well, if you have a gig you'd like us to promote, send us an email, coi@dctv.ie, or you can message us on Facebook, and pending the brilliance of your band name, we will promote it on the show. One gig that's already been and gone, I'm afraid, but not forgotten, is the Joyful Slog gig. We put that on May 6th, and we had 6 bands playing it, and we're going to be bringing you footage of that over the course of this series. The first profile is on the superb No Spill Blood. Aoife Barry went to meet them this week, and here's what happened.
We're joined here by Matt Hedigan and Rowan O'Mara from No Spill Blood. How are you doing, lads?
Very well, good, thanks.
Excellent stuff. Now, there's been a lot of talk about you of late. You're one of the kind of bands people are talking about a lot at the moment, and with good reason. You sound amazing, and you've also signed to Sargent House, but I'll get onto that in a little bit. For people who aren't familiar, what's the story of the kind of genesis of No Spill Blood?
Was it a year ago or bit less than a year ago?
Yeah, around a year ago.
We started playing together. I mentioned to Rowan that I'd like to play as much music as I could because I didn't have a job or anything. So we got together and we practiced for on and off. Well, mostly on for about 8 or 9 months, and then we got our first gig with Hands Up Wants to Die in the Crawdaddy. And we've just been playing on and off since and writing and stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. And the third member of the band is Lara, obviously from Adabisi Shank. Was he on board from day one as well?
Yeah. He gave me a call one day and said, "Do you want to go and have a jam somewhere?" And Matt had just moved to Dublin from Cork, and we weren't going to go on our own, so we gave him a call. And went down, had a few cans down in Bobby's practice room, and kept it going ever since.
And can you tell me a bit about your sound? I mean, how that evolved? Obviously, you've got the bass, you've got synthesizers, you've got drums. It's nice, kind of unusual and quite a heavy sound. Can you tell me about the kind of evolution of that for yourselves?
It's basically just what happened when we went into the room. We started playing, and just like we all started doing what we kind of felt was what we wanted to do, really.
Yeah.
And I just, thank God, it all sat together, like, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual because Rowan's keyboards are really, really bassy, so there's less need for me to be really carrying the low end. It's more like we can kind of change what would normally be happening with those frequencies and stuff. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, it sounds a bit different, I suppose. Yeah.
I haven't seen you live myself yet, but I've seen the live videos. I think they give a really good sense of what people can expect. Were you really happy with the reaction straight away?
Amazing. Like the first video that Community Independence did actually has done a lot for us, because we didn't have any tunes recorded properly to put up online, and even like we were trying to get gigs and stuff, and it was hard to even describe to people what we were like, and you know, everybody wants to hear what they're getting before they put gigs on and that. So it was like really, really useful. Yeah, that's kind of where it all really kind of started kind of happening. Like when it was it was just really handy because we didn't have any tunes, like Rowan said. Yeah. So that was kind of a big one for us.
Yeah, I mean, did you think it would take off as fast as it did? I mean, I know it's been about a year, but still, in terms of how quickly people were talking about you and the reputation going around with the live shows.
No, not at all. It's been a bit mad actually the last few weeks. Yeah.
Very, very unusual.
You're now on the Sargent House roster as well as of probably the last week or so.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I mean, obviously you've got the Adabisi link there, but can you tell me a bit more about how that all happened?
It was Kathy who runs Sargent House. She saw that video, the Community Independence one, and she sent an email, you know, just saying like, you know, oh, like I really like it, and you know, and if you guys ever plan on releasing it, and you know, I'd be interested in doing something. So eventually, when we had our EP recorded, like, you know, we sent it over to her, and like she seemed to like it, and it was only in the last few days that we found out for definite that it was happening. So it's great. It's amazing.
I got a text at about 8:30 in the morning from Rowan with all block capitals. So he was quite excited.
A little bit excited, yeah.
Pretty excited, yeah.
Kind of going from that to the idea of being an independent band, the whole DIY ethos, those kind of beliefs, is that something that really appeals to you, or how do you feel about the labels, even independent and DIY?
Well, it's kind of, everybody's independent DIY these days. Yeah. It's not much of a thing like it used to be, you know, like there's nothing really to fight against, or, you know, everybody's got to, if you're playing music, it's because you want it and you love it, and whatever has to be done, you know. It's no way about it.
At the kind of,
You get too prissy about things, you're not going to get very far.
yeah.
And you're going to be releasing the EP, which you mentioned you've recorded already.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit about recording it? How long did that take?
It was pretty handy. Our friend Deck Hines helped us out with it. He had access to a space and he's got a lot of gear. He's kind of pretty good at what he does. So we did it all with him. We recorded it all with him, and Vinny from ADBC mixed it as well. So
Cool. And how many tracks are on it?
there's 6 tracks on it. Yeah.
6 tracks, excellent. We're outside the lower deck, and obviously the venue downstairs there is closed. Is that something that you really mourn the loss of? Would you've gone to a lot of gigs and played gigs there in your different guises there?
Yeah, I think between the two of us, we would have played there a lot of times. Like, I played there a lot of times with Elk and Ray Fumes as well, and drank many a can over there.
Well, like the Ballroom of Romance that we run here years ago brought over some really interesting bands. Skinny Wolves put on all that stuff here as well, and there's like a lot of great punk shows. It was a good staple for punk gigs, which is kind of, it was a big loss to the punk community, I think, more than anybody else.
Yeah.
There was always something on there. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Now we're going to go to a live track from the launch of a Joyful Slog by yourselves called Good Company. Can you tell me a bit about this now? I can't always make out the lyrics to your songs because you have such a forceful voice when you're performing, Matt. So can you tell me a little bit about this particular track?
I think it was the second song we wrote, was it?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Most of the songs were about mining. So, and that one is as well.
About mining?
Yeah.
Tell me a bit more about mining.
I don't know, I was just really feeling mining as a lyrical subject. I don't really know why.
Mining any particular type of
coal, I'd say,
substance?
probably. Yeah.
Coal mining. Okay, we'll have a look at that, Good Company, and people can read into the mining lyrics as they want to. Listen, lads, it was great chatting to you. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
You're more than welcome, Matt. That was No Spill Blood there with Good Company, the first of our profiles from the Joyful Slog gig. More importantly, we're joined by Katy Kim. Thanks very much for coming into us, helping us cut the ribbon on Series 2. Yeah. So, for you, everything's very much self-produced. There's no record label involved. Is creative control the most important thing?
Well, financially it is at the moment. I don't think many people can afford to hire a studio anymore these days, or a producer, or spend that much money on studio time. But creative control is important, and I think it's just mostly though just because I was interested in buying the equipment and just sitting at home and trying to do it myself rather than having complete creative control, you know.
Yeah.
More than that.
Having fun experimenting, exploring.
Yeah, and learning how to do it, and yeah, you know, it's fun to record yourself. Your own albums.
The recent double album, Cover and Flood, I mean, a double vinyl release, that must have been quite a challenge to get it out.
It was a challenge. It was a challenge for about 2 years to get it out. And then Martin Burns came along from Flame in June and decided to help us put it out, like he did with a lot of bands. But yeah, it was a struggle. And it was a struggle for me to leave it go as well, because I'd been recording it for so long. And then just had to kind of, you know, once it flew the nest,
let it go.
Accept it and leave it go.
Let the babies fly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, look, what's planned for the summer then for Katy Kim?
Summer. Going to France. We're very lucky that our cellist, Jess, has a house in France in Perpignan. We're going to go and record the third album there, and some festivals, and have some fun and
enjoy the rare sunshine.
Enjoy the rare sunshine, yeah.
Well, what are you going to play for us tonight?
I'm going to play something that isn't even on the new album.
Oh, okay.
Which is part of my complete ADD with my songs, and because I have been listening to this album for so long, but it's a new album, and it's one we're going to be recording in France. Maybe not quite in this form, maybe in a different form, but we'll see.
What's it called?
It's called Volunteer.
Volunteer. Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, well, take it away, Katy Kim with Volunteer. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Complicated, but I can make this ever so discreet. To think we got along this long, to think we still have time to watch the sky. You saw the murder, but I saw the killing. Elegantly as you chomped at the bit. No, I'm not pretending that I'm some sweet victim. This is where I volunteered to sit. Dublin left me cold and I had sand between my toes. The air was thick and I was ready for a fight. This well resembles my own kind of hell, but either way, no point in sleeping through the night. Well, we can make a mountain out of molehills, but who'd care enough to care? The bottle was our medicine, and we got by just fine like that for years. I always remember the light of that sundown. You put on some reading dedicated to me. The heat from your face and the stains on your jumper. As we lay down to bed and I forgot to leave. better say goodbye before we go. Nothing causes tension like the traffic running slow.